of State. Now, we don't know if Lincoln actually had those portraits here. That is an educated guess on our historian's part, because it's common back then to put up portraits of folks that you admire or look up to. If you notice back in the parlor downstairs, we had George and Martha Washington above the fireplace. Here we've got two of Lincoln's own personal heroes that he would have been thinking of a lot in this stage of his life, in those years leading up to the presidency. All right, great question. We do have lots more to see, of course. Now, as we walk by Lincoln's bed through Mary's room, I want you to take a quick peek underneath Lincoln's bed over here, and you'll see the fact of 19th century life called the chamber pot. No bathrooms in the house. That means you have to either use the outhouse in the yard or the pot and dump it outside. I know it's not too glamorous, but I mention it because I want you to compare what you'll see under Lincoln's bed to what you'll see in Mary's room. When you enter Mrs. Lincoln's room, look to your left, you'll see she gets the good stuff. Mary has a nicer version called a commode, a nice wooden box. It's got a flip-up lid and everything. Best of all, Mary's commode is original, and we all know how thrilled she would be that people get to see that every day. So get a look at that. We also have her dresser on the back wall. Mrs. Lincoln's dresser, or chest of drawers, beside her bed, is the oldest item in the home. It is a Todd family heirloom from Lexington, Kentucky. That dresser is 200 years old, makes it older than this entire home. So get a look at those nice things. We're going to walk through Mary's room and then fill up the back hallway here. We'll have our next stop back there. So come right on through.
Oh, it's not very big.
Pretty small room.
Yes, fill the hallway down for me. Get a look at the rooms that you pass by. We're going to talk about all these rooms next. All we ask is just don't go down to the back stairs yet.
Was it fully carpeted?
In most of the rooms, yes. Actually, this back hallway is the only part of the house that would not have been, well, plus the kitchen and stuff, but most of the rooms do have that wall-to-wall carpet.
Do you know what's behind that?
I do. It will leave you in suspense for 1 or 2 minutes here, and I will tell you what's behind the mysterious closed doors.
You better watch him.
How many people?
Depends on the day. Usually summertime, we average about 600 or so.
600?
Yeah. That's all right. It can happen if you lean over the railings too far as well. It's not a big deal. I've got an eye on you. I know we're all okay. And we would have been. We don't have it anymore. It would have pulled out from underneath. But yes, we do not have it. It is lost.
Okay, so the furniture doesn't seem used at all. I mean, how?
Yes, so a lot of it, actually, I mean, it is very nicely restored. I mean, a lot of it is a lot of original furniture. I mean, the beds themselves are antiques, but they're not the ones the Lincolns owned.
Okay.
And a lot of the stuff has been, it's kept polished and kept and nice and smoothed out and all that over the years. We have a full-time staff of curators who take care of the artifact and keep everything looking as fresh as possible. We're very lucky. The house has been a historic site in some way or another since 1887, so a long time for things to stay here and be cared for. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, as we come back into this hallway, you may notice right away all that fancy wallpaper. What happened to it? All plain suddenly. No decorations in this hallway, because we are now entering a part of the home that the guests, the visitors, would never have seen. This is only for the family to use. A little bit of a utility hallway that's a little bit hard to find. The only ways to get back here are to come around the bedrooms like we did, or up the back stairs to the kitchen. If you are wondering about the mysterious door behind me, it does not even go anywhere. This door is a linen closet, so no way through. So a secret little hallway back here. But the other rooms, still very important. The first one, here closest to me on my right, is called the boys' room. Originally, that is Robert Lincoln's room. The oldest son, firstborn, has his own space. But in 1859, Robert moved out of this house. He went off to college. He went out east to Massachusetts. Now, as soon as Robert leaves, Willie and Tad leave their room as well. They take Robert's room for themselves, like any good little brothers would. Now that room belonged to the two younger sons. You can see it's full of their toys. Checkers, dominoes, toy soldiers, marbles, things like that. It's a lot of work to look after those kids. Even with all those distractions, they love to cause problems and play pranks. So Mary has to keep an eye on them. She also has to do a lot of the housekeeping and the chores here. Mr. Lincoln is away from home most days working. So Mary cannot be expected to do everything here herself. The Lincolns actually have to have one extra helper around the house. They've got one full-time assistant, the hired girl. She would cook, she would help clean, she would stoke the fires, she would dump out the chamber pots walks every morning. Very glamorous. Thankfully, the hired girl was paid every week for that, and she got a room to stay in here completely free. That is her room at the end of the hall there on the left. It's a little bit simple, a little basic, but it is also the only room where you can still see original floors. Get a look at the floorboards in the hired girl's room. They are original to the home. And that just leaves, after those nice bedrooms, we have one more mysterious closed door. Do not worry, we are not hiding any secrets from you. No treasures or secret passages. It is a storage room. It's a walk-in closet where you pack away all the extra clothes that you did not need for the current weather that get put into big heavy trunks or suitcases and stored there in that room. That is called, conveniently enough, the trunk room for all your trunks and storage needs. But you can see what an improvement the second floor is with storage areas and bedrooms to spare. They are not crammed into a cottage. They have a nice 5-bedroom home at this point. Any questions up here before we head back down? Wonderful. Well, if not, once you've gotten a good look in these rooms here, the boys' room and the hired girls, head downstairs to the kitchen for me. It's a little cozy. The kitchen's a little small. We will fit, I promise, but it will be snug. So come through with your neighbors and friends, and I will see you down there for our last stop in the home.
Watch your step here.
Oh,
You okay?
yeah.
How old do you think those peas are?
They're pancakes.
Oh, pancakes and bacon? Biscuits? Fish? That one fish was still flopping.
What?
It's for their food, not for their.
No, honey, it's an iron.
Yeah, but I don't think they're gonna use it right where the kitchen is.
Alright. Stand here on the top step, actually. There we are. Welcome, everyone. Last but not least, the glamorous kitchen. Maybe a little bit basic by modern standards. No electricity or running water here. That means no fridge, no microwave, no toaster, not even a real sink. But what they do have is the big centerpiece in the middle of the floor down there. Now that is the Lincoln's original stove. Cast iron, wood burning, very useful and impressive. It's got a stovetop, an oven inside. The shelf over the front is called the apron, where you can heat up irons. You see those irons there on the apron shelf there? You can heat them to your ironing on the stove as well. It is a multi-purpose tool. Now, Mrs. Lincoln and the hired girl would both use it every day, but Mary in particular